Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the live stream. Yep, so the topic for today will be about accredited Australian psychology degrees that are offered in Singapore. So once again, accredited Australian psychology degrees that you can do in Singapore. So what you're seeing on the screen here is the Australian Psychology Accreditation Council website, or APAC for short. So if you go to this website, which is apac.au, you can actually go and check out which are the courses offered in Singapore that are accredited. So they actually list down all the accredited programs, as you can see over here. So you can head over to accredited programs right at the top here. Let's see, you can zoom in. Yeah, accredited programs over here. Then search for program. Yep, so over here you can just type Singapore and do a search. Yeah, so there's quite a number of them listed down. But if you notice, some of them are listed here as discontinued or teach out. So discontinued is quite obvious. Yeah, basically the program is no longer offered or no longer accredited. Then there's teach out. So teach out basically means that there is a notification that the program will no longer be taking new enrollment. So the university is no longer enrolling new students into the program. And it's still accredited until the current batch of students graduate, or if you retain, you need to repeat. Then there might be some issues but basically the course is still accredited. As it says here, the program will remain accredited with or without the conditions until all students have either graduated or transferred out of the program, or unless specified by the HEP. So let's get rid of the discontinued and teach out programs. Okay, so as you can see, this is the full list of accredited psychology degrees offered in Singapore. There's quite a number. There's Murdoch University, James Cook University, University of Wollongong. Basically, there's only these three. Yep. So the Murdoch University program is taught out of Kaplan, Singapore. So there's the Bachelor of Arts, Psychology, and then there's the Graduate Diploma in Psychology. So two programs from Murdoch University taught out of Kaplan, Singapore. And from SIM, the Singapore Institute of Management, they have a partnership with the University of Wollongong that offers the Bachelor of Psychological Science right over here. And of course, there's James Cook University, which is a standalone university based in Singapore. So there's a Bachelor of Psychological Science, Bachelor of Psychological Science with Honours, and the Graduate Diploma of Psychology. And if you look over to the right side here, you see the accredited with conditions under the University of Wollongong program. So what accredited with conditions means is that it meets most of the accreditation standards, and those not met at the time of the assessment are likely to be met within the time specified by APAC. So usually they probably want to see whether your students graduate and everything. So if a university just changed the syllabus or come up with a new course, usually it's accredited with conditions. Yep. So as I just mentioned here, usually a higher education provider makes changes to its program or its supporting resources after the accreditation, and it no longer meets the standards. Yep. So usually this is what it means by accreditation with conditions. Usually universities tend to be quite on the ball of this. So what happens is that they will get it done, they get the things sorted out. So I wouldn't be too concerned. Okay, so let's dive right in. Starting with the Murdoch University program taught out of Kaplan, Singapore, where as I mentioned, there's the Bachelor of Arts Psychology and Graduate Diploma in Psychology. So the great thing about Murdoch University is that the staff are based in Singapore, at least for the side programs. Not sure about the others. And they don't adopt one of those fly-in, fly-out models where the initial lessons are taught by foreign lecturers who are flown in for a week of the intensive lessons. Then they just cram it as much as possible because the foreign lecturers are flying in. Then after that, they fly out and a locally based lecturer takes over. So they basically hand over their teaching after the first week or so. Yeah, so Murdoch University out of Kaplan, Singapore doesn't do that. They actually are quite proud of this on their website. And one great thing about Kaplan is that the fees are pretty affordable and they give out quite a few exemptions if you have a relevant diploma. So if you have enough exemptions, you can with a diploma, you can go into year 2 and you only pay about 28,000 or so. And if you do the full program with 16 units, you pay about 33k. Yeah, so you can see over here, Bachelor of Arts in Psychology. There's single majors. Oh yeah, and Kaplan also has double majors. So if you look at the fees over here, yeah, so 13 units with exemptions or 33k or so for the 16 units, payable in 5 installments. And admissions, as I mentioned earlier, they have this thing where you can enter a poly diploma and get exemptions up to 12 units and gain entry to year 2 of the program. Or if you got a Murdoch University recognized Kaplan diploma or private diploma, you may be exempted from up to 8 units to gain year 2 entry into the program. Yeah, so it's all down here. Now back to the APAC website. So on to the University of Wollongong that's taught out of the Singapore Institute of Management or SIM. Yeah, so not to be confused with SUSS. So they split up quite a while ago. So there's Singapore Institute of Education, Singapore Institute of Management, and then there's SUSS, which is the former UniSim. So the UOW or the University of Wollongong's Bachelor of Psychological Science programs offered at the Singapore Institute of Management, but since it's the only level offered in Singapore, so there's like only one level, the bachelor's level, you have to go to either Kaplan for the Murdoch University graduate diploma in psychology, or to James Cook University to do their Bachelor of Psychological Science in Honours or Grad Dip in Psychology to continue your studies if you want to progress up. So currently, as you can see on the site here, the UOW program is still accredited with conditions. And today's date is 16th of October 2023. So the last I checked in June, it was still accredited. So they might be looking for a full year cycle before they change it. Yeah, so anyway, the course fees over here are $45,000. Thereabouts for 24 modules done over 3 years. Payable over 6 semesters. Okay, so that's one disadvantage of the UOW program. It's quite long and at 3 years, and it's also the only level offered in Singapore. So moving on to James Cook University. So the key benefit, I guess, will be that it offers 3 programs. So the Bachelor of Psychological Science, this one over here, is the entry point. So after which you graduate from there, graduates who do well may be invited to apply either for the graduate diploma in psychology or the Bachelor of Psychological Science with honours. So quite unique is that the Australian system is a bit different. The honours here is a separate year of research that you get invited to, and it's after you complete your bachelor degree. So in this case, the Bachelor of Psychological Science, you have to complete it first. It's a 2-year program at James Cook University. Upon completion, you can move on to the Bachelor of Psychological Science with honours or the Graduate Diploma of Psychology. Yep. So these 2 programs are basically an additional year of research studies, and the difference between the two is that for the honours program, you do data collection on your own when you come up with your thesis, while for the Graduate Diploma, you do it as a group. So let's jump over to the JCU website, the Bachelor of Psychological Science. The fees, yes. So JCU is quite known for its psychology program locally, but they are also the most expensive at $62,000 lah for locals, for Singaporeans and PRs, including those with a valid pass, excluding a student pass. Yep. So, but their courses are only 2 years full time, so shorter than the SIMUW one, but 62,000 lah. Okay. Yeah, jumping back. Okay, so yep. So these are the courses or the accredited psychology programs you can do from an Australian university in Singapore. So this means you don't have to fly overseas to do it. Yep. Okay. So something to note would be so these were the courses previously offered in Singapore. So James Cook University actually had a Doctor of Psychology, Clinical Psychology, and a Master of Psychology, Clinical. These are no longer offered in Singapore as of 2020. So the Clinical Psychology program, especially the Masters, is about 2 years or so. So the graduates should be out and about in the world already, about now, I guess. This will be the first batch of this might be the first batch that 2021, 22. Yeah, so this might be the first batch that graduated without the accredited program. So previously, James Cook University had the full range from undergraduate Bachelor of Psychological Science to the honors or the grad dip, which is the level 2, and all the way to the masters and the Doctor of Psychology, level 3, level 4. But as of 2020, they are no longer offered. So this was due to some changes in the accreditation standards where if I understand correctly, so I believe it was that they no longer accredit the postgraduate programs that are taught overseas, not in Australia. Yep, so these courses are no longer accredited, but I believe JCU is still offering them. So let's head over to courses, psychology. Yes, so JCU is still offering the Masters of Psychology Clinical, just that it no longer has the accreditation from APAC. Yep. So it's the 2-year program. Yep. So they start in about Jan or Feb. And 2 years, so they should be out and about in the world if they have completed all their placements and all that. And it's 69,000. So for those of you who are actually planning to go for the full route, right, to become a clinical psychologist, so you actually have to start, and if you're going through the Australian route specifically, you actually have to start with the bachelor's degree, move on to the honors or the grad dip, then apply for the masters. Locally, you pretty much only have 2 choices. So let's head over to the NCSS website. So you click on this social service tribe page. So you're interested in the career in clinical psychology. You can see that the courses they recommend, the minimum requirement to be a clinical psychologist is a master's in applied psychology, and they recommend the NUS program, NUS Master of Psychology Clinical, and JCU's Master of Psychology Clinical. So as for now, NCSS still recommends the JCU program despite it not having its accreditation anymore. I mean, it's been a couple of years since it was no longer accredited. So that's good to see if you are planning to do your entire studies in Singapore. But take note that this pathway is going to be quite competitive. Of course, there's different different qualifications if you're looking at counseling psychology, but one thing you might notice as I scroll down, so here you need a master's in applied psychology, and the recommended program is from the NIE Master of Arts. And if you head over to educational psychology, it's recommended. Minimum requirement is a master's in applied, and the recommended one is the NIE Master of Arts in applied psychology, specializing in educational side or counseling side. So basically, for all these psychologist roles, you need the masters. But fun fact here, the profession or the practice of psychology is not regulated in Singapore. Technically, you can call yourself a psychologist, and psychologists have been told not to, if they have a doctorate, they can call them, or a PhD, they can call themselves doctor so and so, but they need to put a disclaimer that they are not a medical doctor or dentist. Yeah, so it's quite weird because the practice is not regulated lah. So I've thought the practice of in the mental health profession should be regulated, but that's a different conversation. Right, so back to this. Once again, if you want to check for yourself, head over to apec.au. Go to accredited programs, the drop-down menu, search for program. If you type in try to go by state, it won't show because this is an Australian website. But what you want to do is go to search for keyword, type Singapore, filter your results. You have a full list, but if you want to see what are currently accredited, just head over to this one here. Right, discontinued and programs and teach out, and filter results again. Then what you end up with is the list of currently accredited programs, and they may be accredited without or with conditions. So once again, the accredited programs offered in Singapore are the Bachelor of Arts Psychology by Murdoch University, taught out of Kaplan, Singapore. The Bachelor of Psychological Science, taught by University of Wollongong through the Singapore Institute of Management. And then there's James Cook University, which has the Bachelor of Psychological Science. So these are the undergraduate levels. But the Murdoch University through Kaplan, Singapore also offers a graduate diploma in psychology. And James Cook University offers a graduate diploma of psychology and a Bachelor of Psychological Science honors. And once more, the Australian system requires you to complete a bachelor's degree first. Upon completion of the bachelor's degree, then you spend an additional year doing your research studies, which could be a Bachelor of Psychological Science honors at James Cook University, or the graduate diploma of psychology at JCU also, or the graduate diploma in psychology through Murdoch University, taught out of Kaplan, Singapore. And with that, I think we've covered everything about the accredited Australian psychology degrees in Singapore, and it's a wrap.